Assalamu alaikum. In today's session, we are going to discuss some very interesting concepts, and these include urbanization, rural-urban migration, and we will discuss certain policy recommendations, and then we are going to discuss two theories that explain the purpose for which migrations are carried out or people decide to move from one area in a country to another area within a country or across different countries. So basically, when we look at the increase in the population, we observe that the population over the last few years has considerably gone up, and the growth rate in certain areas, particularly when we look at a number of developing countries all across the globe, we see that the population has gone up considerably. And with that increase in population, we also see that a large number of people have moved from the rural areas towards the urban area, and this massive increase in this kind of a transition from the rural area towards the urban area is called urbanization. So we are going to discuss what are the factors that cause this urbanization to take place, and when we will see that what is the overall situation prevailing in different parts of the world that indicate that if you compare the population that is right now living in the rural areas and the population that is right now living in the urban areas, we see that the growth of population in the urban areas has superseded the growth of population in the rural areas all across the globe. Previously, as we all know, we were told and we studied also when we were kids कि जो रूरल एरिया में पॉपुलेशन की तादाद होती है that is always higher, and the people who are living in the urban areas their proportion is relatively smaller. But it was investigated, and United Nations estimated that in 2008 it got reversed, that the total population in the world in 2008 that was living in the rural area became smaller than the total population that is living in the urban area all across the globe. That became higher as compared to the people living in the rural areas in the whole of the world. So this is something which is alarming, and it is important to see that what are the factors that help people, or when people decide to move from one place to another, what are the different determinants that influence this kind of a movement. Because rationally speaking, if we analyze that why people move from one place to another, the idea seems to be a bit complicated, because it is really difficult and hard that you eventually, by living at a certain place for a long time period, you decide one day that we will be moving to some other place. It could be some other city within the same country, or you decide to migrate from one country to another. So there are a number of different ideas that have been presented so far. So we will be talking in detail about two theories that explain the motives and the objectives behind people who migrate from one place to another. And before I explain the theoretical contributions, the thing which I am going to discuss with you is the overall scenario right now as far as the urbanization and the migration from the rural and urban countries is concerned, or the rural and the urban areas or sectors are concerned. We will see that what is the current scenario. So by 2050 it has been estimated that the overall population in the world will be 9 million approximately. So with this huge increase in the population, we need to see that where this huge population is going to be situated in, or how it is going to be based by the time we reach 2050. So it is important to see that since 2008, the growth rate of population living in the urban areas has become larger all across the world, and the growth rate of people living in the rural areas, that is also rising, but the increase and the overall proportion of the people living in the rural areas has become slightly smaller than the people who are growing in the urban areas. So it is therefore important to look at the patterns that indicate the overall movement in these two variables, and or the number of people who are situated in the rural areas and the number of people who are situated in the urban areas. So another important argument which we observe is that whenever we see that the countries are developing, with this process of development, we see that urbanization is taking place, and this is very obvious to understand and obvious to see that whenever an economy is growing, industrialization process is setting in or is growing as well. So we see that since this growth in the industrial sector requires manpower or extensive labor force, and that will, if we are assuming that all the industrial sectors are either located within the urban areas or they are located closer to the urban areas, then they will definitely result in this improvement or increase or expansion in the industrial sector in our country, will automatically create the demand for the labor force, and in order to satisfy that demand, more and more people will move from the rural areas towards the urban areas, because this is something which is very observable and like obvious, that when we compare between the wages that an average person can get while living in a rural area and is being attached with some traditional sector or some agricultural sector, then whatever income he will be earning while staying in the rural area is always considered to be many times lower as compared to the wage rate which the same individual can earn when he decides to move to some urban area and gets himself attached with the modern sector or the manufacturing sector. So mainly because of the wage differential in the rural area and the urban area, people decide to move from one place to another in order to go for some higher level of satisfaction, higher level of wages and high standard of life. So this indicates that there is this pattern that can be delineated, and this pattern indicates that whenever we see that development is taking place in an economy, at the same time we see that urbanization also starts increasing. So in other words, we can say that whenever an economy is growing with whatever pace of growth rate it is growing, we see that there is an increase in the urbanization. By urbanization, I mean that there is a rapid increment in the inflow of people from the rural areas towards the urban area. So again, we need to understand that when a lot of people are moving from one area in a country towards another area, that is going to bring in the positive effects, or there are going to be some advantages of this movement of people from the rural area towards the urban area, but at the same time there are a number of disadvantages also which we are going to, this particular inflow can result in a lot of problems that can be planning or management of the city in which this inflow, strong or big inflow is taking place. So we can see that if we look at the big cities all across the world, that this urbanization has resulted in a big problem in most of the places wherever we see that the big cities are growing with a very significant growth rate, a high growth rate. That indicates that again this should not be considered as just the positive thing or the good thing. We see that whenever there are a large number of people moving from one place to another, they bring in a lot of problems also for the area where they all are moving towards. So before I move further to the details, I'm going to introduce the trends and the projections that help us in understanding the overall scenario, the current scenario of urbanization at present. And as I already mentioned, the word urbanization can be defined as the increasing number of people that live in the urban areas. And if you look at the trends with which the people who are living in the urban areas are increasing, we see that in 1950, urban dwellers in the developing countries made up approximately 38% of the total population. So the population in 1950 was estimated to be equivalent to about 724 million. So out of this 724 million, we see that nearly 38% of the people were living in the urban areas in 1950, if we look at the data for the developing countries alone. But if you look at the data for 2010, we see that the population has gone up from 724 million people to 3.4 billion. Instead of 724, now we see that there is a massive increase in the population. And since the population has gone up, we also see a significant transformation as long as the urban dwellers are concerned. The people who live in the urban areas in the developing country, they have gone up by more than 3/4 of the total population of the world, which I just mentioned is 3.4 billion. So you imagine that nearly more than 75% of this huge population base, 3.4 billion people, are right now were living in 2010 in the urban areas of the developing countries. So with this we see that there is an overall very sharp increment in the people who are living in the urban areas, and naturally this may be because of the high growth rate in these countries, but at the same time we see this massive increment in the proportion of people living in the urban areas in the developing countries because of the migration and urbanization issues. So people decide because of a number of different types of reasons, they decide to move from the rural areas towards the urban areas, and they bring in a lot of problems also. Not only the good thing is there, because the good thing can be that they add to the existing labor force that is available, or that would be available when they are added into the existing labor force for the production process or for the expansion of the industrial sector. But with this good thing, there are associated a number of negative things also, and this is what we are going to observe and in detail in this session. So another important thing is that the largest cities in the developing countries in the past were much smaller than the large cities of developing countries today. So if compare that, the overall size of the large cities, again we see that we will be discussing this also in detail later on, that there is this big city issue also, that in the developing countries mainly when we observe, then you would see that there are a number of developing countries in which either one or two big cities are there, and then there would be a large number of cities that are smaller in size as compared to those one or two big cities, right? So that is also creating a lot of confusion and a lot of issues, which we will be doing later on, discussing in detail later on. So we observe that the largest cities in the developing countries in the past, in the whatever countries, if we analyze or compare between the overall size of the big cities in the developed countries in the past, when these countries were developing, and the sizes of the big cities of the developing countries. So if we compare the two, the size of a big city in the past of the developed nation is compared with the size of the big cities in the developing countries now, we see that the big cities in the developed nations now were comparatively many times smaller as compared to the big cities in the developing countries which we observe. So again we see that whenever there is a big city, a huge city, it is difficult to manage, and then it also creates a lot of problem for the employment generation activities also. So this will be discussed in detail later on. The diagram which you are seeing right now, it gives you the urban population and per capita income across several countries of the world, and in this diagram you will be seeing that along the x-axis we have taken urban population, which is the percentage of the total population living in the urban areas, and along the vertical axis you can see the GNI per capita in US dollars. GNI is gross national income. So if you look at the dots that indicate various countries in which we are going to see the proportion of urban population, and we are going to observe the relationship between the proportion of urban population with the GNI per capita in these countries, which is given in dollar terms. So you can see that overall the relationship seems to be non-linear and it is positive. So if we combine in the form of if we try to analyze the trend imaginary, you just draw a line that passes through maximum number of points in this graph or in this figure, we would see that we can observe a positive relationship between the proportion of the urban population and the GNI per capita, although it is a non-linear curve that can be formed using this data, which is a real life data, and but there are certain exceptions also. But overall, the trend we observe in this diagram is that whenever we see that a larger proportion of people or of the entire population is living in the urban areas, that lead to a higher or is associated with a higher GNI per capita, and vice versa. Similarly, when you look at Rwanda, for example, in this diagram, we see that a very little proportion of the total population is living in urban areas in Rwanda, and at the same time we observe that the overall per capita income is also very low in Rwanda. And on the other hand, if we do the same analysis for Luxembourg, for example, or for Switzerland, we see that in Switzerland, Luxembourg, Denmark, etc., a very large proportion of the total population is dwelling or living in the urban area, and you can see that at the same time they are able to generate a high level of GNI per capita as well. So we see that overall there is a positive relationship between these two important variables. So on the basis of this diagram, we can draw some inference, and that inference tells us that whenever we observe that a larger proportion of the total population moves towards the urban areas, implicitly we are assuming that they will be contributing towards expansion in the service sector of that economy and overall growth and expansion in the industrial sector of that economy, and that will result as a consequence in increasing the overall GNI per capita in that country. So this is what we have observed in this figure. Another important thing which we have seen is that we observe that urbanization, no matter whatever economic position of a country is, whether it is a developing country or a developed one, we see that urbanization is taking place in every corner of the world. And for the same illustration, for the illustration of this particular thing which I've just shared with you, we see another figure that explains the relationship between urbanization, the income levels, and over time we see the transition. So in this figure, and the transition indicates the movement from the rural area towards the urban areas. So right over here, there is information which has been provided in this diagram by taking the data set for 1970, and then the data set has been taken for 1995, and a comparison has been provided by showing that the increase or decrease in the urban population in these different countries have been accounted for, and for the two time periods, starting from 1970 and then ending up at 1995. So for the illustration, you will be seeing this figure has been labeled as figure number 2, and it provides you a relationship between urbanization across time and income levels. And in this figure, you will see that along the x-axis, we see GDP per capita has been taken, and this is the real value because 1987 आपको देखने को मिल रहा होगा, that is the base period, and US dollars में लिया गया है income को, GDP per capita को, which is taken along x-axis. Along the vertical axis, we see the urban population is there, which is again taken up as the percentage of the total population. So आपको जो black dot देखने को मिल रही है, that represents the value for 1970. The white cube is representing the value for 1995. So if you see a black dot and then a cube और उसके दरमियान में आपको lines देखने को मिल रहे हैं. So these lines represent the direction of change. So if for example आप जो black dot है 1970 की value से cube ऊपर की तरफ डायरेक्शन दिखा रहा है, तो दैट इंडिकेट्स ऊपर की तरफ एरो हेड जा रही है, लाइन इंडिकेट कर रही है मूवमेंट कि आप ब्लैक डॉट से क्यूब की तरफ गए हैं, और जो मूवमेंट है इफ सपोज दैट इज लाइक दिस पॉजिटिव है, तो ये बता रही है कि आप का जो population है that is situated or dwelling in the urban area, उसका proportion बढ़ा है between 1970 to 1995. And if the movement is like this, it represents that between the time period 1970 to 1995, the proportion of population in the urban area has gone down. So right over here in this diagram, you will see that most of these lines indicate that urbanization has taken place, or in other words, we can see that it indicates that in almost all the data points, whatever have in this diagram, indicate that the proportion of the population living in the urban area has significantly gone up from 1970 to 1995. Another important thing which is observed in this diagram is the relationship between the urban population and the GDP per capita, the way we saw the same relationship in the previous diagram I discussed with you. Over here, once again, if you look at the overall movement in this, if you generalize the trend in this diagram of all the different types of movements which you are observing between the black circular dot towards the cubic block, which indicates the movement from of the population from the rural area towards the urban area. We see this positive trend that indicates that when the proportion of population is larger, becomes larger in the urban area, then at the same time we see that there is an increase in the GDP per capita. So GDP per capita के increase होते के साथ साथ आपको देखने को मिल रहा है कि आपका जो urban population का proportion है total population में, that also has started increasing. So in a way, this indicates some positive relationship or some like strong linkage between more people moving from the rural area towards the urban area, contributing into the expansion of the overall economy, and at the same time we see that the GDP per capita is also increasing. So another thing which I'm going to discuss with you is this new diagram which you are seeing right now. This has been labeled as figure 3, and the title of this diagram is proportion of urban population by region. So in this diagram we see that between the time period 1950 to 2050, we see that the overall movement of the urban population in different regions has been accounted for in this diagram. So you can see that in North America, for example, the legends are given in the bottom of this diagram, and you can see that overall each of these lines is showing the increase in the urban population in each of the regions in which World Bank has split the world into. And we see that for every region, overall, if you look at the trend of all these lines that correspond to every single region, and the details are given in the bottom of this diagram. We start off from North America, Latin America, Oceania, Europe, Africa, and then Asia. Together, this data has been is a real life data which has been showing the overall trend in the increase in the urban population in these various regions spanning 1950 to 2050, and we see that in almost all the regions we see that there is an upward movement, and this indicates that within every region we see that over time the proportion of the total population living in the urban areas, it has significantly gone up. So this can be seen over here, that all the lines representing the movement of urban population over time in each of these regions is showing a positive movement or an increasing movement, and it indicates that the total proportion of urban people or people living in the urban areas in each of these regions that have been accounted for in plotting this diagram show that the overall increase has taken place over time. And since you can see that a long time period has been taken into account in order to plot this, and we observe that in almost all the regions this proportion of urbanization or the trend of urbanization is positive in this diagram. The next thing which I am going to discuss with you is another technical term which we will be using in later discussion in particular, and that is the urban bias. So whenever we see that most of the investment is taking place in the cities or in big cities, and there is this trend because of the wage differential mainly, that people are moving from the rural areas towards the urban area in pursuit of employment and in pursuit of higher wage rates or better and improved lifestyle or living standards. The governments also, while observing this, make up that kind of policies which facilitate the people who are living in the urban areas, which facilitate and focus the industrial sector that is located in the urban areas or the developed areas of a certain country. So we see that because of this inclination, even in the policies that are developed by the government, the people who are situated in the urban area in a country become economically more stronger as compared to the people who are living in the rural area. So we see that biasness or a greater inclination even of the government while making the policies, that they focus more on the development of the urban areas as compared to the development of the rural areas. And there may be certain political reasons of this as well, but we see that there is this trend or a greater inclination of the government sector towards the development of the urban areas instead of the rural areas. So this particular phenomenon is called urban bias, or in other words, urban bias can be defined as the notion that most governments in the developing countries favor the urban sector in their developmental policies. The reasons can be political, and this results in basically widening the gap between the urban and the rural economies, and maybe because of this big difference and this greater focus of the government sector towards the development of the urban areas, we see that that also facilitates in this rural-urban migration and urbanization to take place. So let me clarify one thing, that when I say rural-urban migration, I'm saying it means that the movement of people from the rural areas towards the urban areas. But when we see that what is meant by urbanization, we mean that the size of cities is increasing in terms of a greater number of people residing or living in that city. So if the size of a city is growing, that growth of the size of the city is called urbanization, and the movement of people from the rural area towards the urban area is called the rural-urban migration. So they are two different things, and I just mentioned that because of the urban bias, there may be urbanization taking place, or it may encourage urbanization and through encouraging the rural-urban migration. So the thing which I am going to show you and discuss with you now is the concept of the problem because of the mega cities. So again, we see that, as I just mentioned, that we observe this typical aspect or typical feature particularly in the developing nations, and खास तौर पे वो developing nations जहाँ जो कि colonies रहे हैं, वहाँ हम देखते हैं कि categorically the countries which were ruling the developing countries in the past helped or tried to develop only that city in particular which was situated somewhere closer to the harbor, closer to the city, closer to the sea, ताकि whatever resources, whatever things they are interested in taking from this country towards their own country becomes easy, or the trading should be facilitated, and therefore उन्होंने हमेशा फोकस किया particularly वो सारे countries जो कि कॉलोनी रहे हैं कि उनका रूट को डेवलप करते हैं वो, और वो सिटी जो कि समंदर के पास लोकेट करती है उसको वो ज़्यादा डेवलप करते हैं. So because of this focus or because of this emphasis in developing that city in particular which is situated closer to the sea, closer to the border, such so that it becomes easy for them to do their transportation nicely or cheaply, they always try to establish and develop those cities that are closer to the borders or the harbors, right? So that because of this particular aspect, we see that all across the globe, we observe this phenomenon of the presence of mega cities. So हमने ये देखा कि even if you deal with any developing countries or with the developed nations, we observe this presence of mega cities that within a certain country, although there could be a large number of cities that are there in a country, but there are always one or two mega cities that are present in a country. So when we look at the data explaining the mega cities, we see some interesting findings, and these interesting findings have been illustrated in the form of this figure, which I'm going to discuss with you now. And this includes, the figure is going to show you the cities with 10 million or more inhabitants in them, and we can see that a large number of cities have been located in this world's map. So अभी जो आप figure देख रहे हैं उसमें world की map दिखाई गई है, और यहाँ सिर्फ वो सारे कंट्री सिटीज मेंशन किए गए हैं जहां आबादी 10 मिलियन से ज़्यादा है. और एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट बात जो आपको यहाँ काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग देखने को मिल रहा है, दैट इज़ के डेटा को लिया गया है 1975 में, 2009 के अंदर और 2025 के अंदर, यानी कि 2025 की प्रोजेक्टेड वैल्यूज एस्टिमेट किए गए हैं. लेट मी एक्सप्लेन. बाय प्रोजेक्टेड वैल्यूज वी मीन दैट अगेन अभी आपने किसी शहर का पॉपुलेशन का ग्रोथ रेट को एस्टिमेट किया, और अभी आपने बोला कि आज इस साल जो पॉपुलेशन का ग्रोथ रेट था इस शहर का, वो सपोज इस 2.4 या 2.2 था या 2.5 था. इस हिसाब से अगले 10 साल में अगर हम देखें पिछले पुराने साल में कितने ग्रोथ रेट के साथ पॉपुलेशन ग्रो किया था, उससे पहले साल में कितने पॉपुलेशन का ग्रोथ रेट था इस सिटी के अंदर, उसको काउंट फॉर करके आप प्रोजेक्शंस लगाते हैं कि अगले 10 साल के बाद या 5 साल के बाद इस सिटी का पॉपुलेशन क्या होगा. सो ओवर हियर इन दिस डायग्राम विच यू आर सीइंग राइट नाउ, यू वुड सी दैट 3 पॉइंट्स के ऊपर डेटा को अकाउंट फॉर किया गया है. वन वाज टेकन इनटू अकाउंट इन 1975, द अदर वाज टेकन इनटू अकाउंट इन 2009, एंड देन द प्रोजेक्टेड वैल्यूज आर एस्टिमेटेड फॉर 2025. और वो सारे सिटीज दिए गए हैं यहाँ. नाउ द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग हियर इज दैट आपको कुछ सिटीज में 3 वैल्यूज देखने को मिलेंगे. हर सिटी के नाम के नीचे आपको 3 वैल्यूज देखने को मिल रहे हैं. पॉपुलेशन के अलावा जो बॉक्स में आप देखते हैं वहां आपको कुछ सिटीज के बॉटम में 3 वैल्यूज देखने को मिल रहे हैं, कुछ सिटीज के बॉटम में आपको 2 वैल्यूज देखने को मिल रहे हैं. तो जहां 2 वैल्यूज देखने को मिल रहे हैं उसका मतलब है कि वो सिटी मेगा सिटी नहीं थी in 1975. Therefore, we do not have value for that city in 1975. And you will see that there are a number of cities that have become the mega cities only in 2009. And when you look at the same cities in 1975, you observe that there were very few cities that can be considered as the mega cities at that time, and by the increase in the by the time passed on, and with this increase in the population, with this increase in urbanization, we observe that there is a massive improvement in the sizes of the population, and we see that a number of cities have become now mega cities. And in this diagram you will be able to see that all these cities who have now emerged as mega cities are labeled. And the interesting thing in here is that I'm going to focus in Pakistan. There are 2 such cities. मैंने पहले mention किया था कि कोई भी country के अंदर अगर आपको कोई mega city देखने को मिल रहा है तो वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 2 होंगी, और बाकी के सारे सिटीज़ नाइसली डेवलप नहीं होते हैं, उतने अच्छे एक्सपैंडेड नहीं है, वहाँ का इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर बहुत अच्छा वाला ग्रो नहीं किया होता, जिसकी वजह से पीपल का जो इनफ्लो है फ्रॉम द रूरल एरिया टुवर्ड्स दीज सिटीज़ वो इतना हाई उधर नहीं होता है, बल्कि जो मेगा सिटीज़ डेवलप करे हुए हैं पहले से काफ़ी ज़्यादा, वहाँ ज़्यादा inclination hai ya movement is relatively larger towards these cities, and they therefore become mega cities, and they are known as mega cities. So in Pakistan we have got two mega cities, one is Karachi and the other is Lahore, which can be seen in here. And if you look at the data for Lahore, the data which you are going to take into account for 1975, so 1975 के पास के लिए आपको यहाँ value नहीं मिल रही, इसका मतलब कि it wasn't a mega city in 1975. And when you look at Karachi, again you would see two values. But if there is another city which I would like to mention, that is Mexico. So Mexico में आपको तीनों values दिखेंगे, इसका मतलब कि Mexico 1975 में भी mega city थी कि वहाँ का population 10 million से large थी even in 1975, and now it has significantly gone up. और फिर अभी 2025 के projections लगाए हैं. So you can see that this phenomenon of having mega cities is growing, and a number of cities have now added into this list of mega cities. And previously, if you get back into the history, बहुत ज़्यादा पीछे जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. अगर आप 1975 में भी देखेंगे तो आपको यहाँ सिर्फ 3 या 4 cities देखने को मिल रहे हैं जहाँ 10 million से ज़्यादा population है, लेकिन अभी आपको देखने को मिल रहा है यहाँ काफ़ी ज़्यादा increased number hai. And if we expect that population is going to rise with the same growth rate and urbanization will also continue to take place, we would see that there would be a number of other cities also that will join this list of mega cities. Now, if you look at this aspect of becoming or having this concept of mega cities, that they get enlarged and enlarged and enlarged over time, we see that this is a consequence of urbanization and rural-urban migration, that people just for certain reasons they decide to quit wherever they were living earlier. And of all the various different types of factors that have been identified so far, previously in the beginning it was observed that according to certain analysts, they said that it is the major reason behind this movement of people from the rural to the urban areas is this bread and circuses effect, which is called that people go for the luxury, or they go for amenities, they go for improved lifestyles or a higher standard of life, and therefore they decide to move from the rural area towards the urban area. But later on, abhi main आपके साथ discuss करूंगी models को, which explain that there are certain economic reasons also that contribute in making decision that whether I should migrate from one place to another or not. So the next thing which I am going to discuss with you is another figure in which the estimated and projected urban and rural population of the more and less developed regions in the world have been estimated, and the data which has been accounted for this analysis spans 1950 to 2050. So 1950 से लेके 2050 के estimated और projected urban और rural population को account for किया गया है. So this is a very interesting diagram in which you see certain trends which I am going to discuss with you right now. So if you look at the x-axis, years have been taken starting from 1950 until 2050, और vertical axis के ऊपर आपको population जो कि billions में है को account for किया गया है. So if you look at the first legend, which is for the less developed regions, urban area, जो कि एक लाइन में छोटे छोटे ट्रायंगल्स देखने को मिल रहे हैं आपको. So if you look at this particular line, you see that this is rising very sharply. ये काफ़ी sharply तेजी के साथ ऊपर की तरफ बढ़ता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है. And this indicates that from 1950 से लेके अब तक, और अगर हम आगे projections लगाएं तो हम देखते हैं कि less developed regions के urban area में बहुत ज़्यादा population की तादाद बढ़ चुकी है और आइंदा बढ़ने जा रही है. और अगर आप कंपेयर करें इस लाइन को with all the other 3 lines, so you will see that the significant upward movement is observed only in this line, which indicates that in the less developed regions we observe that among the urban areas the population is going to sharply increase over time, and it has gone up significantly. But agar aap projection लगाते हैं, in future this is going to further sharply rise significantly. The other thing which is being shown in this diagram is the increase in the population of the less developed regions in the rural area. So again, you can see that it starts from 1.5 billion in 1950, and if you move on, जैसे जैसे वक्त गुजरा है, आपको देखने को मिल रहा है कि rural population increase की है, but it after reaching a certain highest level, it is going to start going down, right? And but if you compare this curve, the blue line with circles in it, with the line which I just discussed earlier, जो कि urban area in the less developed regions के movement को over time दिखा रही है, आपको comparison करने में बहुत आसानी होगी कि आप देख सकते हैं कि जो रूरल एरिया का डेवलप्ड रीजन्स के अंदर मूवमेंट है, वहाँ आपको इतना शार्प इंक्रीज देखने को नहीं मिल रहा. Plus, you also see that after reaching a certain maximum point, it starts declining. But as long as the developed region की urban area की population है, you see that there is a very significant and sharp increment in this trend, which is being observed by the black line with triangles in it. Then third thing which I'm going to discuss with you is the more developed regions का urban area का movement over time. So this has been represented by the thick black line with circles, with little tiny circles on it. So again you can see that more developed regions में urban area को अगर हम देखें, उनके population में increment है over time, but the increment is very small. And if you compare this line with the first line I discussed with you, you can see कि वो आपको developed nations, less developed nations के बारे में बता रही है, या आपको more developed nations के बारे में बता रही है. So the proportion of urban population in the developed nations is fairly smaller as compared to the expected proportion of the people living in the urban area in the less developed areas. So you can see that there is a huge difference between the two. The fourth and the last thing which I'm going to discuss with you is the trend of the more developed regions in the rural area key population. So again you can see that it starts off from a very small value relatively, and then as time passes by, we see that there is no significant increment or decrease in this line, but somehow when we go beyond 2015, this line becomes closer to x-axis, जो कि represent कर रही है कि more developed countries के अंदर जो rural population का proportion है वो कम होने जा रहा है after 2015, और 2050 तक 2050 तक इस जो population more developed nation में rural area के अंदर लोग रह रहे होंगे, उनकी population काफ़ी थोड़ी होगी. और अगर अभी मैं आपको बोलूं कि you just compare this with the total number of population which we are expecting to be living in the rural areas in the less developed areas, you see that there is a huge difference, and a very fairly large proportion of the total population will be living in the rural areas of the less developed countries, and a huge population is going to be situated in the urban areas in the developing nations. So we observe this phenomenon that has taken place, and that is expected in future to continue. So with this important information we derive certain inferences, and these inferences say that when we expect that a huge rise in the overall population that is expected to be located in the urban areas in the developing countries, we need to plan accordingly. हमें उसके accordingly policies बनाने चाहिए, हमें उसके accordingly अपने जो भी आपके इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन के पॉलिसीज़ हैं, माइग्रेशन के पॉलिसीज़ हैं, ये सारे के सारे उसके अकॉर्डिंगली बनाने चाहिए. एंड अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग विच वी हैव टू आंसर और वी नीड टू पॉन्डर ऑन is that how these cities are going to cope with these challenges, or again when people migrate from one area towards another, it's not just 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 people coming in There are a number of linked up things that are to be taken care of, or that are to be observed, and these include the economical, the environmental, political, social aspects that need to be accounted for. So it's a difficult task that needs to be fulfilled, or that need to be properly managed by the city managements and by the governments, where they are observing that there is huge urbanization and large migration from the rural towards the urban area taking place. So we see that with this movement or urbanization taking place, there are a number of externalities that are attached. So we see that the externalities can be categorized as a positive externalities, and at the same time there are a large number of negative externalities also that is attached with this growing urbanization, which we have just seen, observed by using different types of figures, different types of data sets, different types of studies. And the biggest positive externality, which is because of urbanization, is that when urbanization takes place, it means that there is some sort of industrial development that is taking place. And the biggest positive externality because of this industrial development and urbanization is that we get an access to the skilled workers, a larger base of skilled workers का access हो जाता है industrial sector को because of this urbanization or migration from the rural areas towards the urban areas. Plus, when people move from small cities or the rural areas towards this mega cities or large cities, we observe that the transportation cost is fairly cheaper, the transportation system is fairly developed, and again, if the raw material, the cheap labor or the skilled labor or the desired labor is available within the city where you are having your business venture, then it is fairly cheaper for you to hire these individuals, because they will add to like the transportation cost which you will have to bear in order to engage or employ the skilled labor that is already available within the city where you are where your business is located. You will be spending lesser money on the transportation of the labor force which is present already in the same city. And on the other hand, अगर ये जो आपको required skill वाले लोग हैं, ये कहीं और distant area पे बैठे हुए हैं, तो then it gets really hard for you. Plus आपको transportation cost भी ज़्यादा देनी पड़ेगी to get to know and to employ these people who are located in other areas. So ये जो mega city का concept है, इससे फायदा या positive externality linked up है, वो क्या कि आपका transportation cost low हो गया है, आपको बहुत आसानी के साथ बहुत huge वाले proportion में skilled labor या desired skill वाली labor available हो जाती है. Plus there are a number of social and cultural amenities that are also present, so that are going to help both the labor force and for the industrial expansion as well. So for the entertainment, for the social gathering, there are a number of facilities that will be available in these mega cities. So therefore we see that आप अपने जो employees हैं उनको आप खुश भी रख सकते हैं, उनकी social networking भी हो सकती है, उनके relatives भी साथ में move किए हैं because of this urbanization, and they can have a bigger social network, and that will also help you in making them happier. And at the same time, आपको being an industrialist या being somebody who has set up a business venture of his own, का फायदा ये है कि आपको जिस तरह की लेबर चाहिए, जो भी skills उनमें आपको required है, वो nicely आसानी के साथ available है. If you have based your business entity or business venture in an area which is already developed, so this problem of access of the skilled labor force or the desired labor force becomes easier for you to manage. But as I mentioned that there could be a number of negativities also, that it may result in like proper management of the city. There could be issues with the sanitation, with the clean drinking water, and the environmental pollution will be added up because of this greater influx of people coming from the rural area. And at the same time, we also observe that whenever we see that there is this large migration of people from the rural area towards the urban area, or the size of a certain cosmopolitan or a metropolitan is rising, we see that the crime rate also goes up. So there could be some sort of social imbalances or social inequalities की वजह से, या economic inequality जो कि naturally जब city expand कर रही है, industrial sector expand कर रहा है और कोई लोगों को job मिल रही है, कोई लोगों को नहीं मिल रही है, so there could be issues with the overall, there could be negative externalities also, and these negative externalities can be there in the form of increase in the crime rate, or there could be some other social or economic unrest or similar activities that can take place. So we observe that, I was just mentioning the positive and the negative externalities attached with the concept of urbanization and this huge rural and urban migration, which may result in the mega cities. So I'm just going to take the example of sub-Saharan Africa. So in this continent, we see that again, similar to other regions, urbanization has also taken place in this region as well. Although we see that there is some sort of improvement in the per capita income among some people, employment opportunities have been generated, but at the same time we observe this phenomenon that the size of the slums have also, the societies or the sections of the society that are living in slums is also growing or expanded very significantly. So when we look at these people who are living in slums, they are overcrowded and there are inadequate facilities of like clean water and access to the health and education facilities, etc. So they have got poor sanitation facilities also. When we see that there is a large group of people moving from one place to another, it is not only contributing to increase in the labor force or increase in the skilled labor force, that contributes a lot or significantly towards other issues as well, as I just mentioned. And another important thing, when we analyze the negative externalities or when we analyze the disadvantages of urbanization and rapid migration from the rural areas towards the urban area, we need to see that in these mega cities in particular, the overall development of the in the number of slum dwellers has also considerably gone up. So we see that in these mega cities, or जैसे जैसे हम urbanization को देखते हैं या movement from rural area towards the urban area को देखते हैं, तो we see that शहरों में चूँकि employment opportunities सभी को बहुत अच्छी तरह से provide नहीं होते हैं, तो वहाँ problems can be there, or we see that although urbanization indicates that the size of the city has been expanded, but at the same time हमें देखने को मिलता है कि जो shanty towns हैं या slums की जो तादाद है या झुग्गी वाले लोगों की तादाद है, जिनको different countries में different नामों से बुलाया जाता है, आपके अभी आप handout में देखेंगे वहाँ फेवलाज बोला जाता है. India में भी again there are a huge number of people who lives in slums. Again पाकिस्तान में भी आपको देखने को मिलेगा. So we see that with this urbanization, if you are unable to find the employment, then we see that along with this urbanization taking place, we see that there is this expansion in the slum dwellers at the same time. So that indicates the negativity of this process of urbanization and a massive migration from the rural areas towards the urban areas. Thank you.